Hi Lana, welcome once again to Lana's Coach. So if you have been following us for a while, you should be having a comprehensive understanding on how to write an industrial attachment report. Because if you view our previous videos, we have talked about how you can use artificial intelligence to quickly generate your attachment report. And I showed you two examples of AI tools that you can use, right? We have also gone ahead and looked at the samples of this particular reports. So I've shared the link so that you can be able to download a sample report. But today I just want to emphasize the structure of an industrial attachment report. What are the key sections of an industrial attachment report that you should put into consideration? Now, normally, when you are actually doing your attachment, you will be expected to write a report, and this report should include these key sections. Now, it should actually include the title page, which we normally refer to as the cover page. You should also generate a table of content. Remember, you should generate one by using the various word features such as table of content automation, right? Also have some executive summary, background information, position and responsibilities, a lesson learned, skills developed, conclusion. Now, ideally, what I'm going to show you is closer to these key sections, but you can always adjust them accordingly. Now, the first thing that I want us to look at is the format style. What is the appropriate format style of your industrial attachment report, right? First, the entire report must be typed. In fact, you should underline the word must, right? Except of areas such as where you have appended, let's say your signature, or where you have some scanned insertions, that one you cannot type, right? The typed report should be presented in very good font styles, so you can use New Times Roman, right? That is the most preferred one, with font size of 12, with a 1.5 spacing and 1.0 inch all around the margin. So I believe if you have already used Word, you know how to set this. It should be set in chapters and sections as guided in this video. I'm going to show you the various chapters that you should include. Now, recommended size of an attachment report should not be less than 15 pages and not exceeding 30 pages, and that is excluding appendices. So ensure that your pages are within the 15 page to 30 page, right, maximum, right? The report should be spiral bound, so ensure that you combine everything, then you bind them and use a spiral bound. Of course, what you need to factor in is the host supervisor's evaluation form should be presented to the coordinator separately in a sealed and signed envelope, right? So that's something that you need to consider. So let's look at the first page. This is normally the cover page, and within the cover page, what it should display is the university name that you belong to, faculty and department. Also mention your name, write your name in full, and of course provide your registration number. Also give the degree, course or program you are engaged in. Also the organization name where you are attached, very, very important. And of course the period. This period should be captured in terms of a month and year, right? And it should be placed at the bottom of the page and actually centered, right? So apart from the cover page, the other page that you need to put some emphasis is the declaration page. So the student should declare the work, his or her, that he has done, right, within that particular organization. And then you should include your name, signature and date. So declaration page is very, very important. Also, you need to have an approval page. So here the academic supervisor should sign to approve the report. Of course, all these, both the declaration page that you have looked at and this approval page should appear on the same page, right? So you don't need to have separate pages, right? Then we have the table of contents. Table of contents, as you know, is a guide, or it's going to give you some direction on where to get some content, right? So I will always prefer that you use the table of content tool within Word so that you generate it, right? So you should actually capture the chapters, the titles and subtitles, tables, all the figures within the table of content so that it looks professional. The other section that is very important is the abstract. So abstract is normally a one page, right? And of course it should be placed before the main body, capturing or highlighting areas that you have talked about in each and every chapter. Now all those pages that I've mentioned, we refer to them as preliminary pages, right? They appear within at the top, right? So let's look at the body part, the chapter 1. So chapter 1 starts with the introduction. Now what do you or must you have within the introduction? Within the introduction, you should capture the organizational background. So this chapter is about the organization where the student is attached. So the student should give the name, ownership, nature and mandate of organization. If it was manufacturing, public, institution, shipping, trading, tourism. So give some or highlight or an overview of the organization. So this chapter should enable the reader to have a picture of the organization at a glance. So appropriate sub-chapters could be used to make the report flow more credible. Now, at least ensure that the introduction doesn't spill to more than 5 pages. So maximum of introduction could be 5 pages, right? So this introduction, this is the main chapter, but remember it has sub chapters that will make it span to 5 pages. We also have chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about activities undertaken during field attachment or industrial attachment, right? So what are these activities? So the report should indicate the activities and assignments which the student was involved in while on the field attachment, right? So that one is very, very important. A student should also describe and give details if such assignments is in the same department or in different units of the organization. That's why the introduction part is very, very important, right? So the student shall be required to explain in detail the link between the activities undertaken during the attachment, the field attachment, and his or her area of specialization and the program of study. So what you're saying is, when you're generating or you're coming up with your with this particular document, you need to factor in the responsibilities or the activities that you're doing in that particular company relate with what you're learning in school or in university, for that matter, isn't it? It's not going to be right if your area of specialization is IT, but the report is actually featuring car related content like car mechanics, repair. It's not going to make sense, right? So the students should compare with the best practices internationally based on literature review. So this chapter should actually take a minimum of 10 pages because you're going to be elaborating the activities that you took. Then we also have chapter 3. This chapter 3 talks about 3 main concepts. This is lessons, experience, and skills. So what is a skill? A skill is proficiency gained in carrying out particular business tasks or techniques learned in the field, like for example typing skills or writing skills. We also need to talk about the experience. Experience are the areas of knowledge accumulated in the field, of course, like writing and typing. Now the student should be able to report on what he or she discovered in view of courses taught prior to the field attachment. What was learned? what the student got informed of, what or where his or her experience. These are some of the questions that you should be answering when you are capturing your lessons, experience and skills. So this chapter also includes enjoyments, disappointments, right? So some kind of reflections, right? So the chapter should enable the supervisor to get a picture of the outcomes of the field of attachment, in our case industrial attachment. So this again should take a minimum of 10 pages, right? So you have to capture all these details appropriately. Chapter 4, you need to break down the challenges, issue analysis and limitations, right? So the student should give the challenges and limitations that were encountered in the attachment. This could be personal, it could be institutional, community, work group related, teamwork challenges, technical, among others, right? So this is not merely a listing of problems, but challenges limiting the learning process from the field attachment. So the student should highlight remedial measures of such challenges. Ideally, this chapter should cover at least 5 pages. Then chapter 5 is talking about conclusions and recommendations. So the report should have a conclusion which serves as a formal summary of the key issues raised in the report. So the chapter should also capture recommendations drawn from the conclusion. Ideally, this could be for the organization, right? For instance, like to improve the systems of operations, or it could be university's faculty department, maybe focusing on how they do the delivery, course content, right, organization and management. The recommendations could be general or specific for the government or policy makers to pay attention of students, among others. So the student should be realistic and draw the recommendations from the report. Ideally, this chapter should not exceed 2 pages, just a summary, a conclusion and a recommendation. After that, it should be actually done with the main part. So if you got some materials from other areas, you are supposed to cite or do some references, and the format is the APA referencing style, right? So cite every book maybe that enable you to do something. If someone gave you some information, you can even mention them, right? If you watched some video from our website or YouTube, for example, always mention where you got that particular information. Lastly, if you have some extra information in terms of pictures, maybe daily, week or daily log reports, weekly, right, maps, charts, you can always attach them at the or within the appendices, right? So these are admissible so long as they are well appended and introduced, but should not exceed 5 in total. So ladies and gentlemen, I believe now you have a clear understanding of the various sections of an industrial attachment or report. So ideally, those are the key things that you need to put into consideration as you start creating your industrial attachment report. So be guided. I've also attached a link where you can download some sample attachment reports, and better still, look at our previous videos for more related content about writing industrial attachment report. If you find this information useful, give it a like and also be part of this community by subscribing to our channel. Alright, thanks.